Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today we're going to be talking about Weedmaps, going on with the ticker as MAPS. Now in this one we're going to go towards a due diligence process, technical analysis, institutional buyers, short volume and short interest, and what I think about this one. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So Weedmaps. Now for this one here, there is a new debut of this one as Silver Spike Acquisition Corp bought this one out. So we can start taking a look into first the latest news and then dive into some of the older newses, because I do actually recognize this company because I do live in a general area of Toronto, and I do recognize their ads from previously and some of the controversy that was on or around their company that we're going to refer to in a bit. So first off, on July 14th, 2021, WM Technology announces public company board of directors. So there was a little bit of a switch there, but that's not as important. June 16th, WM Holdings Company, a leading technology platform to the cannabis industry, completes business combination with Silver Spike Acquisition Corp. Now this was massive here in results, so let's just take a look into this paragraph. So founded in 2008, WMH operates Weedmaps, a leading online listing marketplace for the cannabis consumer and businesses. And WM businesses are one of the most comprehensive SaaS subscription offerings sold to cannabis retails and brands. And the company provides software and other technology solutions that is non-plant touching. Now, WMH has a history of growth since its inception. From the fiscal year 2014 through 2020, the company grew with a CAGR of 35% and expanded its gross margins from 92% to 95%. For the year ending in December 31st, 2020, WMH generated $162 million of revenue with a net income of $39 million and an adjusted EBITDA of $43 million. Now, it does appear that this market cap currently is sitting at almost $2 billion. I'm not sure how accurate FinViz is. This is the source I'm using right now. But around $2 billion, and taking a look into around $43 million in adjusted EBITDA, you can get to see the gap there. Although the $162 million in revenue, you get to see that you're getting $162 million versus a $2 billion market cap. That might be a little bit closer to that 14 price over sales we were talking about on FinViz. Now the price over book value is 427, and that is actually cheaper than the SP 500 price over book. But let's dive a little bit further into this one. So basically, from my understanding, that Silver Spike Acquisition has done a SPAC into WM Holdings Company. We're going to take a look a little bit further into WM, but basically they voted in favor, the business combination went through, Silver Spike is no longer, for at least the ticker it is, the business combination has already done, and you have a new ticker. Now let's dive a little bit into that presentation they were posting up on December 2020 for WM Holdings. And we're going to dive a little bit further as well, all the way back to 2016 and 2017. But first off, here is their leadership team. So their CEO is Chris Bales. Previous experience include Colbeck, Covington, and Davis Polk. Their CFO worked for Nike and Goldman Sachs, and some other notable companies that are mentioned in the leadership team includes Twitter, Adobe, Google, Instacart, Cooley, Snap, and others. So for this one here, you're able to see that their 2015 actual seems to be around 4 times lower than their 2020 revenue. So, and adjusted EBITDA, you see that there is somewhat correlation between that 3 and 4. So it is only 3, but you get to see that there's massive growth from 2015 to 2020. And basically the key metrics here is they have around more than 12 years of operating history, more than 400 employees, 9 countries with WM listing pages, more than 10M plus MAU on Weedmap Marketplace, and more than 18,000 business listings, and over $1.5 billion in GMV across WM businesses in a box platform. Now diving a little bit further, so in terms of WM users and WM business class, you get to see that there is more than 60 plus million monthly users funnel engagements, more than 8 minutes average user session, and around 70% of WM users consume daily. Now there's around $3,000 per month average of revenues per client, and more than 4,000 client subscriptions of WM monthly bundles. Now you're able to see some even more information relating towards the US legalization and all that through, and basically you're able to see that the legalization of marijuana or weed or whatever you want to call it, cannabis, would actually help this company through with their revenues on a federal level. Now, in terms of the Cannabis 101 challenges, so the challenges here is challenging product and retailer discovery given lack of data normalization. And you're able to see that the Cannabis 101 sector in general does have some of these challenges. For instance, inconsistent product and brand availability across retailers and markets, inconsistent product quality, constantly evolving landscape of brands and retailers, brand counterfeiting, and inconsistent product quality, and inability to price compare across brands and retailers. So that is something for challenges facing to the consumers that this company is trying to save. And in terms of the business, the lack of cost-effective customer acquisition channels, inability to effectively reach high-value consumers, and lack of robust data and market intelligence, lack of universally adopted product catalog, inability to scale given disparate and complex or disparate and complex regulatory framework, and little to no avenues for brands to build voice and affinity with customers. Now, basically, they provide cannabis with discovery journey they seek, and in a very nice kind of platform from what I'm able to see through different presentation forms. And the business in a box for their clients basically gets them anywhere from WM ads, deals, orders, dispatch, store, retail, exchange, and dashboard. And you're able to see that they're trying to be this kind of thing like Amazon for weed, basically, to sum it up. Even if you notice their logo itself and how they actually have these different things. This really reminds me of Amazon and how they have the swoosh as well. So that's there, the Amazon swoosh thing, which is a crest. You have that with WM, and they're basically the prime. Remember, it's kind of like orange or blue depending on which one you're going for, and then the word. It's very much branding on point towards Amazon. Now, there's other informations there comparing themselves between different companies and the Weedmap marketplace. So you're able to see pre-COVID AOV pickups and pre-COVID AOV delivery. With post-COVIDs, you get to see there's a massive increase there as expected for the average order value. Now, also, you're able to see the average monthly revenue per client by cohort actually increases as the months go on, and kind of stabilizes, at least for the 2016 level, because we have that information, at almost above $3,200. So there is definitely positive trends. The company looks like it would continually grow. So that's definitely something that could be very much priced in the company valuation, as you get to see the price over sales is massive. Now, in the past, their full year 2020 monthly subscriptions, there was around base subscription for listing pages, includes free access to the SaaS solution. Now, on the outlook for 2021, or the onwards kind of view, base subscription for WM businesses includes access to the entire BAB or BIAB bundle. So this is the business in a box bundle, listing pages with product menu, all SaaS solutions including WM Insights. Now, upsells and add-ons, basically upcoming features, includes feature listings, combination of existing bid practicing or bid auction pricing, and performance-based pricing in selected markets, with nearby listings available, deal promotions, hero banner promo title or tile display, SERP, and premium analytics and CRM and loyalty. Again, really trying to push off to that Amazon vibe. You're able to see as well in 2020 and beyond, layer on more functionality and ramp monetization effort and deepen monetization with upsell tiers in 2020. Basically, the rolling out of the business in a box across all markets and test performance-based ad pricing models. Now, you're able to see some of the growth as well. So basically, revenue year per year has shown a good growth, with the exception of around 2018, where they did have some issues there going on from 101 million revenues, previously $90 million. So you're only seeing a 13% growth, but overall, there was a good growth. Now, in terms of the adjusted EBITDA and EBITDA, actually they don't have adjusted, just the EBITDA, you're able to see that it hovers around 10 million. Now, in 2019, it was only 6 million. Around 2018 and going back in the last few years, you get to see that it isn't really increasing as much as the business is. The business is showing really good revenue, but the adjusted EBITDA or the EBITDA isn't showing that kind of level of basically stabilization. You're able to see that they're spending more in terms of year over year than they're actually seeing that growth in revenue. So that might be concerning. But you're able to see as well some metrics, some really nice graphs and everything in between, but I think that would be a bit more boring. This was also in relations towards the merger or the SPAC merger, some of the money that's going to go through. For instance, you're able to see that their cash total would be somewhere around $585 million. So that's the cash that was raised out of this one, including as well $35 million from Silver Spike as a capital, with PIPE proceeds being total of around $325 million, and the SSPK, which is the pre-merger company, Silver SPAC, I believe, or something like that, is around $250 million from there as a cash in trust. So let's move on a little bit into the older news, but before doing so, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to click the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and leave notifications on. Also, don't forget to drop a like to this video and make sure to join my Discord if you would like to talk a bit more about this stock or any other stock with other similar minded people. So in relations towards the latest news, I do remember that this one was actually put on the TTC, that's the Toronto Transport System, and you're able to see that there was a bit of controversy relating towards this one. Now, honestly, the more media for this one is the better. Now, the controversy and all that stuff was relating towards basically the ad itself is not illegal, but this was actually back in around 2017. So at that time, the legalization of cannabis, basically the legal jurisdiction of cannabis in Canada was still new, from my recollection, and pot shops aren't legal in that sense at that time, at that given time. There's a lot that has changed from 2017, but you get to see they were doing a bit more of bold movements. I was able to see this KOVA point of sales integration, and it looks like they're not only doing everything from their own, there's also some outsourcing relating towards this one. So this is in terms of the KOVA retail cannabis point of services and how they partnered together. Now, I didn't see this one going on towards their website, but it might be somewhere here or there. I haven't really dove so much into it. Now, in terms of other things, for instance, Weedmaps is basically trying to go as the whelp for pot and is under fire for Silicon Valley attitude. Now, again, other controversy, there's a lot of hate that this one received as it started at least around 2017 and 2019, and another one here on 2019 that was a little bit of a warning sign. Weedmaps lays off 100 employees amid financial and legal struggles. So this article here, if you're able to find it, it's actually a very interesting one. And in terms of this one, this is pre-COVID, you gotta remember that they did have some troubles. But as they're public right now, the stock market can basically move a stock very strongly relating towards cannabis with the legalization of the US and the amount of money they raised. You're able to see that, for instance, they're able to survive by just raising cash or offerings. And you get to see that the current general shares being risen up was around 111 million shares. Now, from an institutional buyer's perspective, of course, there's going to be a lot of buyers onto this one, at least generally speaking. There is a lot of activities of buying around May, as this one was a SPAC, but you do see a bit of selling as well because the price is dropping quite fast. Now, the latest one was actually from Pura Vida Investments at 5% of the entire company on 30th of July. Another one, Luxor Capital Group, bought around 10.3% of this company on the 21st of July, and Alger Associates bought around 7.11% on the 9th of July. You get to see there is good amount of 13G investments onto this one, but the insiders appear to be selling back on the 16th of July, although I really do suspect that this is in relations with the maximum amount of shares some certain directors usually hold, so most likely that's going to go towards that. In terms of the short volumes are really massive into this one. Now, the total volume of the company is a little bit slow. So the average volume of this company is around 500,000 only. And you're able to see that a majority of it, sitting at almost 60 to 80%, is short volume. That means a single spike in this one can easily lead towards these people trying to cover right away. Now the short float data is not available, but I will assume that the short volumes gives you a bit of an idea into the short float itself. Let's move on towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis standpoint of view, this one is definitely starting to look interesting, at least on the 1 hour or 1 day perspective. So on the 1 day perspective, you're starting to see that the MACD is indicating that there might actually be a reversal into this one soon as it attempts to go towards the positive side. So this might actually be very bullish as it has been attempting a positive reversal for quite some while. The last positive reversal in this scale happened on the 14th of May and pushed all the way to around the 16th of June, but as this is a SPAC, it did drop down after the SPAC completed the merger, as kind of what seems to be the nature of a lot of these SPACs. In terms of the willing percent R, which is very similar to the relative strength index, this one is on the oversold level, which means it probably would see more buyers if we would reach an equilibrium. The most or the majority of the volume was actually indicated all the way back in the 9th of December, where it did meet around $15. Ever since then, you can get to see actually on the chart, volumes have been very, very small. Now, let's take a look into some of the existing or some of the most important price line action. But before there, let's do a rough scan on the Fibonacci retracements. And the reason why I use this one is because high frequency traders use it. So currently, you get to see that there is a resistance for the Fibonacci retracements at the 1416. But there's 1745, 1976, 2207, 2493, and 2956. On the bottom support, you're seeing 996. Now, if we were to go ahead and just start drawing or highlighting some significant supports, the current significant supports for this one starts at 1356. Below there, 1301. Below there, 1249. Below there, going down to 1205, and then right below there around 1176, followed by 1075 and 1049. Resistances, you're seeing a very strong one around the 1397. That seems to be one that this stock is having troubles breaking. Above there around the 1504, going to the around 1597, and then up to 1702, going to 1841, and you start seeing 2059, 2201, 2288, up to 2506, and 2677, and then 2845. Let me set a question to Ed. What do you think about this one? Now, it looks like through some technical analysis that I showed you a little bit earlier, that this one does seem that they're up for a positive reversal. Now, this is a SPAC. So what does SPACs mean? They usually have a base price of around $10. Those are the people who got early on, at least when the SPAC was announced. So usually the significant support into that level is around $10. So I do see it at least bouncing at the $10 level. So I think the risk value here is sitting around 36% from where it is currently right now. That would be the maximum drop I would anticipate in the near future. Now, in terms of a resistance and supports, you're able to see that there is lower volumes. And if volumes were to pour in, this one can easily skyrocket. As you get to see in terms of back in the 10th of December, an influx of volume actually jumped the price in. And all it takes is retail to understand that this is basically trying to be Amazon of weed. Now, in terms of what I think about this one further, I do think that this is a ticking bomb that is bound to probably explode. But here's the thing, their fundamentals might be not there for price over sales. It's a little bit overvalued in that sense, almost 3 times or 4 times the current SP 500. Price over book is on par, at least from what I'm seeing through the market cap on Finviz. But you gotta be very careful because there is a lot of short volume into this one, and volumes are very quiet. It only takes a massive chunk to drop this one down. But if retail gets a sniff on this, and once this gets attention as the Amazon of weed, you're able to see that most likely volumes will spike it up as seen back on the 10th of December. I keep highlighting that date, and price would go higher. You got to be very careful though on these basically peaks, as each of these are very strong resistances, What do you think about this ticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.